Alright, so I'm back. This is some footage from when it was me, Andy, and Brandon. Andy and Brandon are from Quad Squad FPV. We were out flying, and we ended up strapping a smoke bomb to my drone, because they wanted me to test it first. But for the full video of that, go to their channel. But this is a little bit of footage from that. This is from the drone that I've already built, which is my first drone that I ever built, but my cameras kept cutting out for some apparent reason, so I have to voice over some of this. I don't know why my camera is doing dumb stuff today, but anyways, back where I was. 1800 kV motors on it. It's basically compatible up to a 4-cell, so I run 3 and 4-cell on it, etc, etc, etc. Go on and on about it. Basically all it is a modified Wizard X220, but by modified I mean very heavily modified. So there's the AKK board that I'm putting in. Let's see if I can get this in frame. Sweet. So I'm putting in an AKK F4 board, which is also compatible with Blackbox. This will set up perfect. That's where you put your SD for Blackbox. But I have not all the parts in. I'm getting ready to order a lot of parts. But my buddies at Quad Squad all have roosters. So I thought, why don't I join that club? Why am I still flying this? Why don't I fly a rooster? But had to one-up Quad Squad. I couldn't just let them have all the roosters, and they've never built a drone at however old they are. But of course, me being 13, 14, I've built a drone and basically built 2 drones. This would be my 3rd one. So let's build a rooster. But instead of keeping the traditional rooster, I'm going to put this flight controller on it, a different power distribution board. So basically what it's going to be that, a Armington Rooster frame, PDB, which is nothing really special about it. It's going to be 20 amp ESCs instead of 30. They're going to be Rockstar ESCs. Let's see, the motor, I got it right here. Let me click it. The motor is going to be, I know they're brushless. Come on, one more. Okay, here we go. It's going to be a 1700 kV brushless motor. It's going to be 2 to 4 cell. I don't really like that it's 1700 kV because that's not a lot of power, but I'm going to try it out, and if I end up not liking it, well, I'll just swap it with a 23 or a 2600 kV. Nothing really special about those. I'm putting in AKK X2 VTX on it. It's going to be 5.8 gigahertz, about, I think it's like 40 or 50 channels, so it's basically a standard, what's his face? Shoot, I know what it's called too. That's the worst part. It's basically a standard VTX that you'd find on a lot of your quads, other than higher end ones. I got a stubby antenna that I gotta buy because the VTX is female, and all the antennas that I have are female, not male. And then last but not least, instead of using a big FlySky receiver, I am going to be using the FlySky mini receiver. It's compatible up to 8 channels, so you got your 4 channels for your yaw, pitch, all that good stuff, and then you got your 4 more channels for your switches. And other than that, it's basically just a receiver, so a little bit better than what I have currently, because the problem with what I have currently is that is way too big for this drone, so it's going to be a smaller one there. I think it'll probably end up being better. I don't know. I'm going to try it out. The only thing I don't like is that it's 1 antenna compared to having 2. So, I don't know. If I don't like it, I'll replace it. They're not really horribly expensive. But this video is going to be to show y'all first everything that I'm putting on it, because that's what I just talked about. And then I'll probably end up preparing the board a little bit. I'll go through some of the tools that I'm going to be using for the build. And then, hopefully, by the time this video is released, I'll have all the parts ordered, and there will be a semi-build video coming soon. So, stay tuned! Alright, so, here's what's going on. So, that is roughly the drone I'm going to be building. It's an Armington Rooster. It's going to have Emax motors on it, like Andy had said, which y'all will see that in a minute. I had Andy from Quad FPV ask me what he thinks it'll be. The camera I'm using is going to be a, shoot, I just had it. It's going to be a Foxeer, shoot, I just had it again. Foxeer wide lens camera. Flight controller and the VTX are going to be AKK. Other than that, it's basically just standard drone. It's going to be really nice. It's going to be the nice Rooster one. So we'll do a response to what Andy said, but first, I'll show y'all all the equipment that I'm going to be using to do this. So first, we have two different kinds of fluxes. So if we open up this kind, which I think I can do one-handed. Come on, we're almost there. Okay, so this stuff's really dirty. So this is what I use if my tip on the soldering gun gets dirty. Just like that, and it'll clean it right up. Don't ask me how it does that. I also have a different little cleaner type deal for it. And then here, so I rarely use that to do actual soldering. Now if I'm doing any kind of like board repair, then that's what I would use. This is what I use for the wires. One thing that I have learned, if I just turn on my heat gun and give it a little bit of heat, it goes from, so sorry, I should have showed this first. So it starts off really solid, not sticky at all. So, what I do is take my heat gun, and I'll turn up the speed on it. Just give it a, heat it up a little bit. Not much, just enough to help it out. Once I do that, if we take, I'll just use solder, because I don't want to get all this on my hand, but it's a lot more, what would the word be? I don't know what the word would be, but it works a lot better. Heat it up. So there's that. I have two wicks. This one's just slightly thicker than this. For anyone that doesn't know what wick is for, so whenever you're soldering on your board, if you have excess solder that you want to get rid of, you will take your tip and you'll basically hold the wick. It's hard to do one-handed. You would hold the wick on the board with this on the back side of it, and the other side where you want to take the solder up, and it sucks solder up. It's basically all it is a metal paper towel for solder. So there's that. Solder I'm using, I don't even know what it is. It's just old. It's 60-40, whatever that means to whoever, but a lot of it, really good. It works really good. And then the good stuff that I'm using is going to be this soldering station. So, first thing that we got our heat gun. I have different tips for it. So there's what the soldering station is. But anyways, I would pronounce the name, but I'd butcher it. So for instance, the heat gun's really nice because I can pick what temperature I want on it. If I want, 300 degrees Celsius or 450 degrees Celsius. One tip that I do have is whenever you are soldering something on a board, if you take your heat gun and you just briefly go over it before you solder it, it'll help prevent board damage. So that's going to be the next thing I'm going to get into on the drone. But anyways, preheat your board just a little bit. Like, don't heat it up so hot that you can't touch it with your finger, but preheat it enough to the point where it's not hot, but it's not cold. It'll help out a lot. To give you an idea on how fast this thing heats up, let me turn up the, so it's adjustable temperature, adjustable air movement, but that's degrees in Celsius. So almost 450 degrees. You can see down it, you can see where it's orange in there. I can get the camera to see it. Basically it's orange, the little tip. And then the best thing I like about it, instead of it just shutting off and basically the coils getting destroyed, even if I turn that off, the only way to get this to turn off before it cools down would be by unplugging it, which I don't do because the way that it has it is when I pick it up, so it's decreasing in temperature right now, but if I pick it up, it'll work. It'll heat back up. If I set it down, it won't. So it's really nice on that because that'll help save your coils and make this last a lot longer. So I'm just going to turn the fan down so we can actually hear each other. And then this is going to be the soldering iron. So tips, basically it's a standard. You'll see it a lot. Change tip by loosening this little thing. Good soldering iron, I like it. But Only complaint I got about this is when I bought it, which I saw this, I thought, oh, this would be attached to this. Because there's the original soldering iron that I started with. I thought, oh, this would be attached to this, so it would be perfect. Did not realize it's not attached. So I do like that and I don't like it. It's really nice for whenever you're trying to, like right now, I'd much rather have it over here than have it on this side of it. So it's really nice for that. I do but don't like that. Makes transporting it a pain, but the one thing I do like is I can actually, say that this soldering iron broke, I can just unscrew this and replace the soldering iron. Wish they had that for the heat gun, but they don't. So, to show you how fast this heats up, it's going to be, so, the first numbers, which are 2, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 480, is going to be your degrees in Celsius, and then the 600, 700, 800, 896 is going to be your Fahrenheit. So it goes up to about 900 degrees Fahrenheit, but if I put it about 600 to help my board, it'll show me a little light showing that I'm heating. Turn that off. Show me a little light, and this is how fast it heats up 600 degrees. Generally, it's quick. So, hoping it's quick, but there we go. Alright, so it turned off there, so that means that's heated up. It's just blinking because what's happening is it's heating up, so it's turning off, and then it's cooling down a little bit. So it's turning back on. Whenever you're soldering it doesn't do that, but there's your tip. Let me see if I can actually get some solder and show you how well it melts it. Alright, so here we have our solder. We have our tip. It's like instant, like it's already melting it. Oh, it's hard to do while trying to watch the camera. So, goes right along with it. Solder doesn't like to melt there. Let's turn the heat up a little bit. I'll show you. Only complaint I have about this solder is it likes to smoke. So, also the thing I can show you with this is what I was talking about. Is when you look at this, it looks really, so it's really dirty, and just go, cleans it right back up. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments telling me how bad this is for the tip. But that's how I do it. I think it's really easy. So we'll set that there. Try not to breathe all these fumes in. Put this on like that. Now, let's turn the heat up. Alright, now that our heat's up, go through. Stop smoking! But basically it's melting it instantly now, as you can see. So, that's why I like this iron so much. Just heats up super quick. So, yeah, that's basically all the equipment that I'm using is right there. I might get some tweezers and a couple things like that. But that's all the equipment that I am using is going to be my computer for programming, obviously. Solder, the wick, and the flux. The one thing I can say is I never thought that I'd like the wick. Get the wick. The wick is so much easier than trying to take your soldering iron and scrape it a little bit and get it perfectly. So much easier. Soldering station, I love it. I love that one too. So this one is about 60 bucks is what I saw today. When I bought it, it was $50. That one's about $30 to $40. So I think it's better to have something like this because my biggest problem is I wouldn't use a heat gun because, well, then that's something else you gotta have plugged in. Compared to this, it's right here at all I gotta do is do this, pick it up, and it's heating up. Compared to if I had to plug it in, I'm probably not gonna do that just because that's really annoying to plug it in, unplug it. Plug it in, unplug it. Compared to this, it's just all one setup. So, that's that. So, I'm gonna go into some of the details. I'm gonna show you what my bro from Quad Squad FPV said, and we'll get right back at it.
Man, I think you're going to build one of these with the TBS Unify Pro HV VTX because it's bad, you know what, in a good way. That's it right there on mine, and there's the receiver, which is the FrSky RXSR, has that redundancy built in. And the CL Racing F4 flight controller, whoop whoop, all in one, PDB and flight controller in one. That's what I think you're using, along with the rooster frame. And I hope you're putting Xing motors on it. God, I can't make that turn. There it is. Xing. Boop boop. And I don't know, put a good camera on it. I got the what is that? The God, I can't think of the name. Sorry. Anyway, it's a good one. It's the micro, not a micro, mini, I think. But yeah, that's what you should do. I don't know what you're doing. I think you're going cheap. I got the 30 amp Armaton ESCs, which I've only had to replace one of them so far. Dang it. That one. Everything's a little dirty. Can't even see it for all the grass on it. But yeah, as long as you're building a rooster, and I think that's what you're doing.
Alright, to answer Andy's question. No, I am not building it 100% like a rooster. I know that's probably what you would like. But I am going a slightly cheaper route. Am I putting a real Armaton rooster frame on it? Well, I guess the world will never know that. Andy's gonna be over here the first video, so my plan is to have a couple videos up of me building it, and or just one more video of me actually building it, programming it, and then probably doing a miniature flight before I meet up with Quad Squad FPV and we go for a really good flight. But no, I guess Andy's just gonna have to look at it and take his best guess on what he thinks that I used for a frame. But to answer your question, no, I'm not building exactly like a rooster. X-Wing motors, no, I'm actually using, I want to say they're E-Fly or, oh no, Echo. Okay, that's what they are. Is they're Echo motors. They're very similar. They're not as much KV as what you got on it. Camera, I'm using something not exactly like yours. It's basically like yours, but it's not. Yours, it's going to be the Foxeer wide lens, or it's a Foxeer camera with a wide lens on it. VTX wise, I'm not using that same VTX. Mine's actually going to have audio on it. I don't know if I'll use that or not. I'll just have to, try it a couple times. But, you got camera, you got that. I'm definitely not going to be using that $500-600 camera you got on it that I see that you want the whole world to notice. But other than that, no, I mean, it's basically going to be a rooster with slightly less expensive and less nice, no, not as nice, parts on it. I'm going to be using a power distribution board, I do think. But that's roughly it. My challenge is I want Quad Squad to make a video telling me why they have not made their own drone yet. Why a 14-year-old is beating them in the fact of I've made a drone. I mean, y'all need a beater drone. Y'all need to build a drone that you can use as a beater drone. I don't get why y'all haven't built one. I mean, I'm calling you out. I think that y'all need to, at least one of y'all. But no, I mean, I'm using pretty close parts. I'm using 20 amp ESCs instead of 30. I might end up, if I swap motors, I'll probably swap ESCs to 30s. Haven't quite decided yet, but that's about it. But yeah, so like, subscribe, and Quad Squad, y'all better make a video. Let me know why you haven't built a drone yet. I mean, you can't give me your usual reason of, well, it's about the same price, because the drone that I'm building is not about the same price as a rooster. Because if you think about it, for me to get a rooster, I'd have to, say, make the rooster, which is probably about $300, and then I would have to buy the Tyrannus, which is about $112, I think I saw, and then I'd have to program it all, compared to what I have currently. So, I think I like mine because it's all custom. I'd rather build something custom the way I like it than pay someone to build it. That's just me, but I think Quad Squad should make a video, let me know why, so go to Quad Squad's channel and let me know if they made a video. But yeah, if you got any questions, let me know in the comments.